Namaste everyone. I found it quite fitting to make this video today after the Orlando shooting and what's been going on with LGBT violence. And the question I propose to you is this: are all Muslims terrorists? Question mark. The media would have you believe that they are. Now, that would be crazy because it's like saying all gay people are feminine or all black people are thugs, which is not the case. You know, we cannot stereotype a whole section of people due to the actions of a few. You know, of course, if all Muslims were terrorists, we'd be dead because there's so many Muslims out there in the world. But if we do buy into the media, what the news tells us, then we're going to end up manifesting even more terrorists. So I personally believe through the law of attraction that basically people who interact with terrorism or fear or acts of violence are those who have it most prevalent in their conscious periphery, so the ones who are thinking about it the most. So the ones who think, oh my god, there's terrorists and this and that and the other, they're fearful, there'll be an attraction to the actual terrorists themselves. So that's why, personally, I would recommend not to have that fear playing in your mind and to instead focus on the good that is out there. So, on one hand, you know, I understand that if you look at the fact that this terrorism is going on, it can help a collective society think about think consciously that they want something better. So when we see violence or we see negativity or we see war, it makes society and people want something much more peaceful and loving. So that, in one hand, that's great. But then on the other hand, come on, we all have seen enough of this kind of fear tactics and terror stuff that we already know that we want peace. So it's better to consciously now focus on love and peace and all the good thing that's going on there. There's too much emphasis on Islamic terrorists, islamophobia and such like. I mean, there was 3 weeks prior to the Orlando bombings, shooting, sorry, there was an attack in Mexico in a gay bar, and that killed about 14 people. Statistics are a bit unclear about how many were killed, but basically that didn't get much airtime. Why was that? Was it because they were non-Western, you know, and Western lives matter more? I mean, I know in Orlando, the Orlando shooting, it was mainly Latino and African minorities that were killed. It wasn't so much as it was a white massacre. But is it like a whole Western people who have iPhones and Snapchat and they can actually write these things and sensationalize it, whereas the Mexicans were unable to? Or is it the fact that anything to do with a Muslim doing an attack gets a lot more media press and attention? And also to do with the government, the Mexican government dismissed that basically it was the LGBT violence, that it was drug problems, and the rights for LGBT are not as big as they don't get as much rights as, you know, American LGBT individuals. So this is why I'm saying that we need to be careful, because if we look into the likes of Trump, they will just blame everyone, all Muslims, and prevent them from coming into America. And this is not the way to do things, and it affects us. As an Asian person, I get looked at and people assume, especially white people assume, that I'm Muslim. And when I'm travelling or when I'm going places, that could cause an uproar. And I'm sure you as well, because the colour of your skin can, you know, be feared, and xenophobia can happen and you can be targeted. And for other people, such as white people, they will live in fear, hatred and separation. So therefore, it's not a good idea to buy into this whole sort of, you know, Islamophobic sort of thing. We need to start thinking beyond religion anyway. I mean, we are one race, and we need to start seeing the heart within ourselves. I know we need to acknowledge that there is fear right now, and that, you know, it's the Middle East, it's Arabs, it's Syria, it's ISIS, there are things going on. But we got to remember that in the past it was Russians, it was Germans, it was all sorts of other colonial powers and things that were basically fighting and who were being terrorists. I mean, in the UK we had the Irish bombings with, you know, Ireland and partition and things like that. So the new so-called enemy is, you know, Islam right now and terrorism, and that's just a target. In the future it could be something else. So we need to be a bit more sort of clear about where we stand, and the fact that there have been other terror groups within the past, and that doesn't define everything, and we don't need to be so scared. We're still going to live our lives, we're still going to go out there. I mean, if you just look at a few films of the past, like Bond films, you'll see how the evolution of terror suspects has changed, you know, from Germans to Russians to now, you know, Arabs. So Islam is meant to be a religion of peace. The word Islam in Arabic is the same as Salima, which means peace, purity, submission and obedience to God. So, you know, the actual essence of the religion is peace and love, and we need to remember that. Of course, the radicals have, you know, screwed up the idea of this and are killing innocent people out there. But if we think like that, then we will basically attract more of that. I'm sure most of you know that I'm not really religious. You know, I was born in a Sikh family, but actually I am spiritual. And I believe that each to their own. I think that we should think beyond religion and ego and factions, but I know it gives a lot of people hope out there, and it gives a lot of people faith and guidance, so that's great. But going back to this whole Orlando shooting, was the guy gay? We don't know. Was it a homophobic violence, or was it ISIS? There's no real clues there, to be honest, but does it matter? I mean, we need to start loving and accepting ourselves fully, and we also got to, you know, realize that, you know, if he was gay, then we need to have space within religion to be able to discuss that and embrace that. The media doesn't help at all. By scapegoating one person from one religion and typecasting makes people want to act maybe more like that. If you keep saying Muslims are bad, you know, they're all terrorists, they're more likely to, out of frustration, out of race and discrimination, act upon that. It's like saying all black people are thugs and they should be put in prison. And with the lack of access they get for education and jobs and opportunities, they're more likely to just basically say, you know, that's discrimination and we're going to become the thug that you think I am, you know? If you keep saying to a child you're worthless, eventually the child internalizes it and acts accordingly. So we've got to be very careful with the way we are targeting and labeling other people, because we're going to create more of a problem. That's why the media I would just go for alternative media or pump out good media. So back to the question, all Muslims are terrorists? The answer is no, of course they're not. However, if we keep giving them negative media portrayal, we will get more fundamental acts of violence from this group. And the media will obviously exasperate that. Because you cannot focus on the problem and expect to get the solution. You have to focus on the solution. Of course, right now, there seems to be instability and violence coming from the Middle East and from certain Islamic groups. And this is all down to many historical things such as colonialism and religion and misinterpretation and frustration and dominance and ego, essentially ego. But what is the actual solution? You have to imagine the future that you want as though it's already existing now. Not only will it then manifest in your life and your day-to-day living, which means that you won't get acts of violence happening in your life and you won't experience terrorism, so don't watch the media and don't check things out and don't exasperate negative things by sharing and liking that. But instead, think about a world where everyone's in unity, living together hand in hand and are happy and together, and we see beyond religion, we see the soul, and Muslim, Christian, Jew, Sikh, Hindu, Buddhist, whoever you are, we're all in it together and we're all happy and content and the world is peaceful. And people are helping one another. That's the only solution that we can do from a spiritual point of view, is actually, you know, be more loving to your family, friends and your partner. Give out that love around you and imagine the world being like that. And then the more people that stand up and rise and give that sort of positive vibration, the more it will expand out into the universe and help one another. Positive high vibration is addictive and it has a very high frequency, so it will basically just have ripple effects on the world. And the more positive people we have, which after 2012 we had a tipping point, the more positive people we have, the better it will be. You only need this amount of this amount of positive people to make this amount of change. So, you know, positive vibration is much higher. So that is what I would like you to do. I would like you to share, like and comment and do and think and manifest and feel and act like everybody is loving one another, because that's the only way we're going to bring change. And to be honest, I know we're all sick and tired of the crap that's going on. So start using the power of your mind and manifestation, because everything is not real. Nothing is real. Everything's just imagination and just energy, so you can really will it to be. Now I would love for you to like, comment and share this video and subscribe to my newsletter and also my website myspiritualsoul.com. And basically if you enter into that, you can get a chance to win my book as well, and you're also contributing to giving and pumping out positivity into the world, because that's what I do. I make it very specific to only give out good positive messages in my social media. So go on, remember, you are the revolution, and you can start the ripple effects of peace and love in the world, and I will be there to guide you. So thank you very much for watching this video. Have a great week and start off Monday with love and happiness and joy. Do some random acts of love and kindness. See you later.